All right, we're going to break down some of the top NFL free agents left. I am your host, Tom Downey. Got a lot of different names to discuss here on today's video, not including Rodney Hudson, who was just cut by the Las Vegas Raiders, but plenty of names still out there on the open market. Kenny Golladay kicks things off here, the top free agent wide receiver left on the open market. Now, Golladay missed a lot of this season with injuries, and I think that is driving down his market. The Lions were like, you know what, Kenny? We're not going to franchise tag you. You go gamble and see what you can get on the open market. I think there are numerous teams that, yes, the production was down this year, but could use a player of Kenny Galladay's impact. When healthy, I genuinely believe he is a number one receiver. Maybe he's more of a 1A or even a 1B. But him and Marvin Jones, a great duo in Detroit. Jones also a notable free agent out there. So where do you think Kenny Golladay signs? Could it be in Miami or in Washington or in Baltimore? Let me know what you guys think. Where will Kenny Golladay sign, potentially in the near future, in NFL free agency? Trent Williams next up here. He's older, but he is the top left tackle by a wide margin. Like, I'm talking massive difference between him and the guy we'll get to later on in today's video. The Niners want to bring him back, and yet Williams has been linked to the Chiefs and the Bears and others. So I'm going to throw out a potential conspiracy theory. I believe that Trent Williams is trying to squeeze San Francisco for every last penny, as a free agent should when you're of his caliber. I think Williams, in the end, signs back with San Francisco. We'll see that's a freezing cold take in the near future. But with the Bears and Chiefs being linked, I think he's trying to maximize his money earned from San Francisco, which, by the way, every player should. Now, we're just going to the top free agents available. But my boy Mitchell Renz already broke down where these guys could end up signing. So go check it out. It's available on the channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Go subscribe today. That way you don't miss any of the massive videos that we've got available on our channel around NFL free agency. youtube.com/chatsportstv. So William Jackson here. I don't know if he's going to command Shaquille Griffin money. And maybe I'm just wrong on this. But I think Jackson's a better player than Shaquille Griffin. I have liked him for a long time. I think he is the best corner available. And the Bengals paid Trey Waynes and they signed Chidobe Awuzie. He will not be back with the Bengals. He is going somewhere else. Now, he's a bit older for a first-time free agent. He was an older guy coming out of Houston. But if you want a legit, I think, borderline number one corner, this is your guy. So let me know in the comments who you want your team to sign. Let me know what you guys think. What player do you want your organization to go get? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down, and get your votes in. Anthony Harris here is still looking to sign somewhere. The Browns, of course, already paid big money to John Johnson. And I wonder if 10 or 11 million is going to be the price tag for Harris. I've waffled back and forth on Anthony Harris. I thought around this time last year, one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. This year, he wasn't as good. So I'm not as high on Harris. But with Justin Simmons, Marcus May, Marcus Williams all getting the franchise tag, and John Johnson already getting paid, he's the best guy out there. I'd argue by a pretty good margin. Now, yes, INT's dropped down from 6 to 0, but if you want someone who can play free safety, this is a candidate. So if you want one of those guys, I say go get Anthony Harris in free agency. To Will Fuller now, who before his suspension, and side note here, whatever Will Fuller took that got him popped for that suspension, should be legal in the NFL because Will Fuller, always hurt, stayed healthy. So whatever he took, whether he knew it or not, should be allowed in the NFL. That is my mindset if I'm the NFL. Regardless, as I get up kind of off topic there, my bad. Breakout year. Deshaun Watson, I promise you, wants to keep Will Fuller. Now, the Green Bay Packers had interest in Will Fuller at the trade deadline. I'm generalizing here because there are some exceptions, but the wide receiver market, not that active. Yeah, Nelson Aguilar signed, the Patriots added some receivers, and Corey Davis signed, but this Will Fuller route of looking for a top-tier guy, I don't know if he's got the market he wants yet. So keep an eye on Will Fuller either leaving Houston potentially in free agency. Someone I think who's gone, JuJu. Now, we'll see if I look like an idiot in the near future, which is fine. We're wrong all the time. That's the nature of life in the NFL, right? JuJu's intriguing. 4 years of playing. He's only 24 years old. The past 2 seasons, though, have simply not been his best. But I would argue that's also the nature of life as a receiver in the National Football League. If your quarterback is hurt or not the same guy he was in his prime, Big Ben, you're not going to produce as well. But honestly, 97 grabs, 831, 9 touchdowns, that's not bad, guys. Like, that's pretty good production. If he's your 1B, I am intrigued. Now, I had predicted he was going to go to the Jets. They signed Corey Davis, so cross that one off the list. But somebody, Raiders maybe, I think could be a legitimate fit for JuJu Smith-Schuster. So pick the better wide receiver of these 3 guys. Type in G for Kenny Golladay, type in F for Will Fuller, or type in S for JuJu Smith-Schuster. I'm going to say it and be nice here. No wrong answers, but get your votes in for me in the comments section. Richard Sherman is next up here. There aren't that many guys left in terms of good corners. And there aren't that many years, by the way, for Richard Sherman either. In terms of what he has left in his tank, I don't think there's that much left. I don't think there is. And Sherman's kind of made a similar case in terms of saying he doesn't have that much left in him. But if you're looking for a potential starting caliber cornerback, I think he makes sense. As a short-term CB2, I'm intrigued. I really am. Now, maybe he's only got 2 years in the tank, but I think that could make some sense. So whether it be the Jets or the Raiders or Cowboys or somebody else, I think Sherman's going to sign somewhere and have some success for the rest of his NFL career. Now, we got some NFL deals available for you guys. Chatsports.com/NFL clearance. If you're trying to save 40% on this awesome t-shirt hat combo pack, or even get an NFL jersey, head over to chatsports.com/NFL clearance. That's 40% off. And jerseys down as low as $55. A lot of spring sales going on right now in terms of what's out there in the NFL. And deals, by the way, up to 70% off. That's chatsports.com/NFL clearance. Chatsports.com. Put a link in the comments, by the way, in the comments and in the description. That link's going to go in there. To Patrick Peterson. That's coming up next here. I wonder what he's going to command. And you could flip-flop Sherman and Peterson if you want to. Peterson's not the same guy he was in his prime. We have to acknowledge that at this day and age in the NFL. But I think he's going to play corner in today's market, and I think that's what teams are going to sign him to be. Could move to 60 down the road potentially. But if you want a 2 or 3 year deal, I do think Patrick Peterson makes some sense there. I really do. And again, not the guy he was in his prime. But if you want a number 2, pair him with a great number 1, yeah, I'm interested. The cornerback market, I think for a guy of Peterson's age, kind of like Sherman, not going to be as strong. But I promise you there's going to be interest in him this offseason. So who's the better cornerback of these three options? Type WJ for William Jackson. Type PP for Patrick Peterson. I'm letting you guys say PP in the live chat. How about that? You can also say RS as well. Now, PP is more fun, let's be honest there. So get your votes in. I'm going to go Jackson. I might be wrong on that, though. WJ, PP, or RS. Go to the Cardinals again here. Haason Reddick, as producer Sam says, it's pronounced arse. Okay, you're wrong. Finally had the breakout year. The former first-round pick bounced around from linebacker to edge and then was all over the place and then broke out in a massive fashion for Arizona. Now, Haason Reddick has 1 year, that is it, of production. But that 1 year was awesome. 12.5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. He's only 26 years old. If you run a 4-3 or a 3-4 scheme, go get him. I wonder though if the moves to tag Dennis Gardecki and the moves to sign JuJu Watt and bring back Marcus Golden mean that Reddick might actually leave in free agency. And if that's the case, if you run a 3-4 scheme, I would have significant interest in him. To Curtis Samuel now, who I'm higher on than most of the Chat Sports staff. I think he's going to get a surprisingly big deal. And I think the breakout partially/fully happened for the Carolina Panthers. Ascending player, he's young. If I'm a team like Jacksonville, Patriots pre all their signings, a team like Washington who has familiarity there, I'm all in on this guy. He's a good football player. Put him in the slot, give him some touch and designed plays. I think he's a really good football option. He's also great, by the way, in Madden. All right, Russell Okung is next up here. Missed some time last year. Obviously, a big deal made about his whole Bitcoin side thing, which is fun, right? If you want when healthy, reliable left tackle in a not great left of the market tackle option, I'm looking at Okung. Panthers, frankly, kind of won that trade, going from Trey Turner to Russell Okung because the Chargers ended up cutting Turner. 7 games this past year. When he was out there, he's a good football player, though. So maybe if the Niners lose Trent Williams or the runners up to the Trent Williams market, I would look towards Okung as a target for any NFL team in the market for a reliable veteran left tackle. To Melvin Ingram we go now. Again, only 7 games this past year. 0 sacks in his age 31 season is a significant red flag. Now again, injury is a big part of that. But Ingram kind of suddenly fell off the cliff to a certain extent there. Now, Ingram can still be a solid, veteran-focused pass rusher. He can be. But is he going to be? I think the answer is still yes. But I'm very curious what his market ends up looking like this offseason. Now, let me know who you guys think is the best sleeper free agent left on the open market. Someone we did not mention on this list. Let me know what you guys think the best sleeper free agent out there. Let's go to Desmond King now, who I think I learned my lesson from the trade deadline. Namely put, he's not as well regarded in the NFL as some of NFL media regards him as. He's a good nickel corner, though. He's not an elite nickel corner with Mike Hilton now off the market, already going to the Bengals. You know, King, I think, is the top guy left out there. The market's only not that high. I think the early flashes from King were a bit deceptive, but he's a good football player. You could sign him and feel great about your number 3 corner role. So, yes, there should be plenty of interest in him this free agency cycle. T.Y. Hilton. Fun fact, this was going to be Mike Hilton, and then Mike Hilton signed, so I just swapped the first name out, right? Colts are letting him test the open market. A big-time name, though, right? The Colts have asked him to give them a chance to match any offer, and that's not that uncommon. Also means the Colts might not choose to match that offer. The wide receiver market in general has been kind of slow thus far. So I don't know exactly what Hilton's going to get. I think it should at least be $10 million per year, but I don't know how much more than that. And if you're a team like the Colts or Dolphins or wherever, that's intriguing. Because Hilton, I think, is like the best number 2 receiver in the NFL. Like, if you were to pair Hilton and Devontae Parker, it's an older matchup, or older pairing, at least for Hilton's side, but it's good. I did want to end, by the way, on Jadeveon Clowney, who, big-time name, right? I have to be honest with you guys. He was bad for the Titans. An injury a part of it, but he wanted $20+ million a year, never got close to it, signed late in the process, and then put up 0 sacks. And look, sacks are not the best indicator of future production. But if you get 0 and your name is Jadeveon Clowney, that's bad, guys. That's bad. So I think for Clowney, the likely outcome here is that he signs a cheaper 1-year prove-it contract. And then we'll see what ends up happening with Clowney the year after that. So we'll see. But yes, I think someone should gamble on him given his pedigree and past production. So are you guys happy with your team's moves so far? Type Y for yes or type in N for no. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section here. I get a sip of my water.